Let our hearts not be hardened. To those living on the margins, there is room at the table for everyone. This is where it all begins. This is how we gather in. There is room at the table for everyone. Too long we have wandered, burdened and undone, but there is room at the table for everyone. Let us sing the new word in. This is how it all begins. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, there is room at the table for everyone. Here and now we can be the beloved community. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. Let our hearts not be hardened. To the living on the margins, there is room at the table for everyone. This is how we gather in. For everyone. Everyone.
Happy Mother's Day. Oh, come on, tell that back to me. I'm not a mother, but I like the holiday. Happy Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
And happy Mother's Day to each of you who is a mother or has played that nurturing role. Or even happy Mother's Day to you if you have a mother, which I think you all do. So I say good morning to Unity of Payson.
Good morning.
It says good morning. So as we gather this morning on this Mother's Day, let us hold in our hearts the memory of mother and mothering, what it means to us, how it has shaped our lives. Join me as we open in prayer. God of all goodness, on this Mother's Day, we are grateful primarily for mothers, because it is the heart of mothers that has given to us some of the sustenance for life, that quality of love that is in fact the substance that is from which all of the earth and everything that is fashioned. And we see that in mothers. And so we bless each of those mothers, each of them here with us this morning, and each as we reach out energetically, each who needs to hear those words of encouragement. Happy Mother's Day. We are grateful. And so as we join together, I am grateful for each one who's here with us, both virtually and in person. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning, all.
Morning.
Those online and here in person. And we have our opening song, Many Rivers. And we're going to be joined up front here.
Many lives, beliefs, and faiths. Many minds refuse to change. But there is one source of life, and we all know this deep inside. Many rivers are returning in their own way to one source. Many rivers are converging with the one unchanging force in our lives. Many souls upon the earth, many lost lives, many hurts, but there is one force we all feel. There is one love that will heal. Many rivers are returning in their own way to one source. Many rivers are converging with the one unchanging force in our lives. Though our eyes may fool our minds,
Back one.
in our hearts we recognize we're not two souls, you and I. We are one in our source of life. Many rivers are returning in their own way to one source. Many rivers are converging with the one unchanging force. Well, I can listen and I can love you, even if we don't agree. 'Cause where we come from and where we're going is the same for you and me. Like many rivers, we're returning in our own way to one source. Like many rivers, we're converging with the one unchanging force in our lives.
Thank you guys who came up here to sing in front. That was awesome. And so we welcome everybody to Unit Payson here in person and online. And I don't see anyone new here in person, but if you are new and you happen to be online, or just put it in the chat where you're joining us from. We always like to see that. And we invite everybody to stay after for some meet and greet. And at the end of service, there is a breaking bread time where Reverend Neal discusses the message, or to just open it up for conversation with our, between both sides here, online and in person. And so whether you are new or one of our valued members, yay, or have yet to find us, let's say our blessing together. We love you, we bless you, and we welcome you. Yes, we do. And on to gratitudes. So we're grateful for all of you, yay. And we've had, and like always, we have a lot of different activities that go on every week. The morning cafe, the Qigong and Tai Chi, organic gardening down at Brahms. I understand, Neil, you were down there on Thursday. And we had the book circle this week. That has been a really excellent book circle. So much opening up. So see, Neil, you and I are in there. I think we have 2 people online, and Melanie, I think is the 5th person. Oh, that's right, Lynn Chalabi too. You can talk to any of us about what that book group has been about. The book has been The Artist's Way. And so it's been a pretty powerful process so far. So we're grateful for all of that. And thank you, Terry, for running technology today. So if anybody has a gratitude here in person, if they'd like to raise their hand. Neil, do you have our little red microphone? Ed's got it already.
So, yeah, I'm just grateful my mom has gotten out of rehab at Rim Country Health, and she's back home as of Friday. So she's still got some recovering to do, but she's getting better every day. So
awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Terry. And Reverend Neal.
So you mentioned it, Betty, but I am always grateful when Thursday rolls around and some schedule conflict doesn't prevent it, that I get to go down to Shanty Homestead and spend some time hanging out with Brahm for one thing, but also getting my fingers in the dirt and trying to make that place better and better. And it's just so beautiful as it is. And I'm grateful for that Thursday morning time. It refreshes me.
And I think anytime we can put our fingers in the soil, grounds us. If anybody hasn't watched the grounding movie, that would be one to put on your list. It just renews us to be out in nature and growing. So unity is,
one more.
oh, yes, Ed.
I'm grateful to be here in service today in attendance versus watching on Zoom,
Yeah.
which is okay, but it's better to be here. Thank you.
And we love having you in person, Ed. Thanks for being here. Okay, it looks like that's,
Anybody online?
I can't see online.
I don't see any hands. I can't tell if there's hands, but
Terry's checking for
nothing
any
in the
raised
chat.
hands. Okay, so unity, as you all know, is grounded in affirmative prayer and in meditation. And we do have trained prayer chaplains. Myself and Anne Marie and Mary Ann are all here this morning. If you have any kind of prayer need, don't hesitate to tap us on the shoulder. We can go across the hall in private and pray with you. And if you have a prayer need during the week, you can send your request to neil.unityofpayson@gmail.com. And if you want one of us to contact you, be sure to put a phone number or an email address that we can get back with you. And we also have the prayer box in the back that you can hand write out a request this morning. So the prayer team holds them sacred, confidential. We pray over them for 30 days, and then they get sent on to Silent Unity, where they're held in prayer for another 30 days. And it's always great when we get the feedback from people of, hey, I asked for prayers for such and such, and they're all better now. So if you've had that experience, it'd be nice to kind of hear that too. And so our theme for May is connections. And this is a longer affirmation. So if you can say it with me, I am one with all that is, and healthy connections with others, the divine, and myself are available to me. And I would add, always available to me. And our speaker this morning is our own Reverend Neal, and his talk title is In Harmony with Friends and Family. And of course, the daily word for today is blessing for mothers, whether you are male or female, because as we learn to balance ourselves, we develop both the masculine and feminine aspects of our own personality. So let's say this affirmation. I bless all mothers with thoughts of gratitude. There's nothing quite like a mother's love, so nurturing, caring, and warm. Today, I bless the women in my life who express this love in all they do. Whether it's the woman who raised me or any of the other women I know who so generously shared a mother's love, I have felt the care of God through their tender touch and encouraging words. Over the years, I have grown strong and confident under their kind direction and have relied upon their wisdom. The divine feminine flourishes on earth in the loving words and caring hands of mothers and all those who share a mother's love. I bless them and pray they know the love of God as they have shared it so generously with me. And from Kings, when the mother of the child said, as the Lord lives and as you yourself live, I will not leave without you. And so whether you are male, female, grandma, older sister, auntie, thank you so much for all of the nurturing energy that is spread not just through this community, but out into your own individual lives. So, and now Reverend Neal.
Let me put my glasses on so I can actually see when I look at the notes that I have. "199 years ago, last Sunday, was an eventful day." When you get cued into what this is, you raise your hand or you just shout it out. If you're here virtually, unmute and tell me what it's all about, the character that it's all about. 199 years ago. And that eventful day took place in Vienna, Austria. So as the story goes, a famous composer had been working on a symphony for a long time. And he gathered for the occasion of the premiere of that symphony, the largest orchestra that he had ever put together, a chorus of singers and some soloists. Quite an event. Well, there were a few Debbie?
Yeah, that Ode to Joy.
Well, yes, you're right on it. Ode to Joy is the theme of this symphony that's repeated again and again throughout the symphony. My head is cut off. Oh, if I stand back a little bit, maybe it'll work. Okay, there we go. There were a few problems with this premiere. The orchestra and the chorus had only 2 rehearsals. Brand new work, only 2 rehearsals. The composer was on stage, but he didn't conduct. Well, he sort of conducted because there was another conductor on stage. And he was deaf, the composer. So who is it? No. Beethoven, Ludwig van Beethoven. And it's the 9th Symphony, from which we get the Ode to Joy. You remember, da 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 da. Yeah, you remember it. It comes down to us 199 years later. At one point during the performance of this symphony, they had to stop it because the applause was so loud that they couldn't continue the performance. And then they restarted and got on with it. And at the end of one of the movements, deaf Beethoven, who was wildly conducting, even though he wasn't the actual conductor, down to the floor and up into the air. At the end of the movement, he kept on conducting, even though it was done. And the alto soloist had to come over to him and turn him around to face the applause of the audience. The audience, knowing that Beethoven was deaf, took their handkerchiefs and threw them in the air as an emblem of the applause and the appreciation they had for them. What an amazing experience. Imagine the amount of coordination and communication that had to go on to perform that symphony with all of those characters, all of those performers, and the audience connecting with that performance. Imagine the passion that was with, you've seen symphony players that are playing and you see a video and they're just so involved in that, they're passionate about it. Well, obviously Beethoven was passionate about this symphony. The players and the singers were passionate about it, and the audience as well got into that passion. And as a matter of fact, for that one short period of time, all of them, players, audience, composer, conductor, experienced oneness in the appreciation of that genius. You'll see how this works in as we go on, because the title of my message today is In Harmony. And I like the way you put it, Betty. You reversed it. You said friends and family instead of family and friends. But so I like it. I would have done that if I'd have thought about it ahead of time. So I put together a key spiritual truth, and then we'll develop this with friends and family. The key spiritual truth is this: with open minds, open hearts, and an opening to spirit, we experience true harmony. Now, Marianne, I know you absolutely love the word harmony because you love it enough to have it on your license plate. And I laud you for that. But harmony, sometimes it's best to look at the opposite sides of things before we look at the positive understanding or definition of a word. So the opposite side of this harmony could be called three different things. Discord. What would be the opposite? Accord. Imbalance. And disunity. Well, that was easy. So harmony is agreement, accord, tranquility, and another fuller definition is an interweaving of different accounts to become a single narrative. So first, we're going to look at in harmony with friends. That's why I liked what you put it first, Betty. And the importance that comes to mind when I think of being in harmony with friends is the idea of having an open mind. Having an open mind is an exercise of the intellect. So it doesn't necessarily have a lot of warm fuzzies, but it does get to accord. And it's as a way of getting there, it's clear communication that gets you to that accord. The scripture, there's a scripture in the Christian scriptures in Colossians. It says this: let your speech be always gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer everyone. Well, I wonder if we do this with friends, and by friends, I also mean co-workers and associates and even family. So we're talking about family and an open mind. An open mind requires a lot of listening. And we listen for enjoyment. We listen to obtain information. We listen to learn, and we listen to understand. All of these are important, but for this communication, this open mind when we're interacting with friends and associates, that open mind, that communication, the one that involves listening and understanding is so critical. A tool that I've found to be helpful, which I don't use as much as I should, is the tool of feedback. So when you're listening to someone, if you're truly listening, sometimes it's good to check in with that person. What I'm hearing you say is that right? Feedback. That clarifies the communication, because perhaps the other person is saying, well, that's not quite it, but then they explain a little further. So that promotes understanding. That listening sometimes involves feedback. When we talk about listening and communication as a road to harmony, that open mind, it's in a milieu of kindness and respect. And this is our choice. We can do that. You know about our kindness initiative that we're supporting here. What we hope to do is to have open minds and connect with people throughout the community, even if they're different from us in many ways. And we do that in the milieu of kindness and respect. I have a wonderful opportunity to sit with 4 or 5 people. It's a little irregular, but we set the idea to have a conversation. And we choose a theme for that conversation. And the one rule is we listen. We listen to one another. That's primary. What we say is less important than what we listen to when another is speaking. And so we go through that conversation. And it's amazing. Sometimes we find that there's a lag in time. Someone will speak and they'll be complete. And then there's half a minute of silence before someone will take up again. But to me, that's so exciting because it means probably a good deal of quality listening occurred in that situation. So I'm grateful for learning from that. I also go back to that orchestra and chorus and symphony. And if you've been in a choir or you've been in an orchestra, you know how important it is for you to be listening to the other players, the other singers. Because in order for there to be a true harmony, the listening is required. So you're using your ears sometimes as much as your voice to be able to achieve that accord, that coming together, to be able to achieve that open-minded expression that is harmonious. Moving on to family. When I think of family, I think of open heart. We, of course, think of mother's love today. And by the way, these flowers are representative of mother love. We're going to give them out to everybody who is a mother, who has a mother. We're going to let you take them home. And sometimes to memorialize your mother, perhaps. But that open heart is so much a part of what we think of when we think of a mother's love. I like to think what's important here is balance. It's the mother's gentle urging. Now, not all of us had this all of the time, but that typical mother, the one we admire, even though it's not our, may not be quite our own, helps us to come into balance when things aren't going right, to kind of swing back into, this doesn't last forever, you'll be okay. When there's a lot of friction going on, the mother's love can soothe that friction. So I think of family as having open hearts. This is a choice, of course. To open your heart makes you just a little bit vulnerable. And so it's a choice to do that that has a little bit of risk to go with it. But the rewards are great. It takes practice. No question about that. But it's also very natural because that's the way we are. That's the way we're made to be. We've set up barriers and walls to close the heart down. It's a protective way of living. But when we're able to open those up, we're able to experience that open heart and the harmony that can be there in family. And by family, I don't necessarily just mean mother and son or daughter. I mean the extended family that you may have. And this is the way, the extended family that we have. Well, that's the way we want our family to operate, with open hearts. I like what Ram Dass says about this. He talks about it in terms of seeing the beloved in each person, and I'm thinking of this in terms of family. When we see the beloved in each person, it's like walking through a garden, watching the flowers bloom all around us. What a great picture that is. I also like the words that are in an old hymn by Clara H. Scott, "Open My Eyes." Everybody remember that? Okay, well, the third verse goes like this. Open my mouth. This takes in this open-mindedness in this conversation as well. Open my mouth and let me bear gladly the warm truth everywhere. Open my heart and let me prepare love with thy children, thus to share. I have an experience of this that I am eternally grateful and grateful for. And probably you've heard this, some of you, at some point along the way. I was at odds with my mother for most of my life. My mom lived to 95, so that's a lot of time. And in the last year of her life, she had Alzheimer's. Cognitively, she was not there. But I still harbored in my heart that resentment. I still had the doors of my heart closed to that family connection with my mom. A friend encouraged me, well, you ought to go see your mom. It's not that far away. She was in a nursing home, a memory care facility. And so reluctantly, I went. And I found my mom to be, and I think of this way now, to be who I think she truly was. Not the somewhat abusive verbally and emotionally mother of my childhood, but a mother who knew and expressed love. She couldn't remember my name, but she sat there with her head on my shoulder and said, "I love you." And I knew that this was truly who my mother was. Had I not opened my heart to that, I would never have experienced that in the last year of her life. And I am ever grateful that I did. So with open minds and open hearts, we can experience a greater measure of harmony. So number 3, I've gone through friends and family. What's left? Well, it's what I call family of choice. Family of choice. And I think of this as being open to spirit. We're many of us closely involved in this family of choice here at Unity of Payson. And that blesses our lives immensely. When we have this family of choice open to spirit, we're thinking of our being more than our doing. With open heart, open mind for sure, but even open heart. We're thinking about what we do in response to some action. But with open to spirit, we're seeing our likeness in our beingness, all creations of the divine, all expressions of the divine. This is what the words unity as opposed to disunity means. To experience that togetherness on a spirit level, to experience oneness and not separateness. Again, from the Christian scriptures in the John's Gospel, the words reported to be by Jesus say this, that they all may be one. And I'm doing this from the King James Version because that's how I memorized it way back when. That they all may be one as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee, that they also may be one in us. I take this much more positively and aggressively, that they are one in us, because it's my true belief that we are one in the divine, one of the divine. In that oneness with the divine, there's an unrestricted flow of energy, beautiful energy. There's a letting go of boundaries. Many times in everyday life, we need boundaries to know where we end and somebody else begins. Very important. In this life of the spirit, there's a letting go of the boundaries between each other and between us and the divine. You've likely experienced this. Frosty, I know you're here today, and I remember not too many days ago, maybe 2 or 3, on Morning Cafe, you spoke about the sense of being one with all that is on the top of a mountain in Colorado. And you've probably experienced something like this, each and every one of you. That one little bit of time where the boundaries between you and spirit, you and the divine, you and the creation just fell away. So you also have the opportunity to do that in a company of chosen family. Those with whom you are aligned. In that context, you can also experience that. When was it? Wednesday of this week. Wednesday of this week, Unity Southwest Region had a leadership day. And they had some speakers at that leadership day that presented some material. The course was on spiritual direction. But a wonderful Unity author and teacher, Robert Brummett, was one of those presenters. And he led us through an experience that did just that. It kind of dissolved some of the barriers between us and someone else as we went through a meditation together. So I think abandoning ourselves to the experience of spirit and oneness certainly brings us to an experience of true harmony. We're transported. You've also experienced that in synchronicity, little things that happen just exactly at the right time. So I say sync with spirit. And by saying sync with spirit, I mean sync with each other. That's a big challenge. So how do I do that? There are not words for it. It is the experience of syncing. It is the experience of being and feeling and knowing oneness. So I did give you 3 things that might be helpful. How do I do that? First one to go with open mind is listen. The second one to go with open heart is to love. And the third one, to let go. So when we move into meditation, I'd like you to join with me in an openness to spirit that will allow you to be in harmony with the divine and to your family of choice, your community of choice. It could be just the people that are here around you today, either in person or virtually. So remember that truth again, with open minds, open hearts, and an opening to spirit, we experience true harmony. Remember Beethoven? I have to think there was some divine genius somewhere in all of that experience of that Symphony number 9, Ode to Joy. And so for a few minutes, the boundaries dissolved. They were transported to a place that was spiritual. They knew a sense of oneness with those there with them in that theater. Again, open minds, open hearts, and opening to spirit produces true harmony. And so it is. As we enjoy this music, it has quieted our soul. We continue in that quietness, in that stillness, for a time of meditation. You have the tools of mind, heart, and spirit that are integrally yours to use in your quest for harmony. So as we sit together in the quiet, I want you to imagine yourself to be on a journey a journey home. It's been an exciting experience exploring the world, but you're coming home. And so as you walk up that road, a little tired, but exhilarated by all you've come to see and know, you're open to see your world with new eyes. Open to see a world that was imbalanced, that is now in balance. Open to see the world back home that perhaps was tinged with discord, and see it in accord. And open the spirit to unity, to oneness. And as you walk that path homeward, people with whom you've had difficulty communicating, difficulty agreeing, difficulty working together, they appear along the side of the roadway. And challenged to do so, and having the exact determination that you will, you choose to open your mind. And as you do, those conversations with this person, and you know who that person is, and that other person, and you know them, are transformed. And you leave them blessed for having experienced a moment of harmony with them. And then you arrive at home. Arriving at home, you're in the arms and the love of family. And even though you've had some differences in the past, you open your heart to them and they to you. And you know the beauty of being a true family, of functioning together in harmony. And you are so grateful. But then you look at the community around your home, and you see others with whom you have engaged in the past, others that you love. And you open even further to the spirit that has seized you on this journey to say, these that are mine to love, these I respect. These I know are equal with me. These I know are one with me. And with spirit energy, you open yourself to the experience of oneness with them. You're not separate. You're not different persons. There's a blending into one grand divine essence. And so as we go into the silence, savor that divine essence of oneness with you and those that are yours to love. You know them in a new way. You love them at a higher level. You know that you are completely loved. Take this image into the silence. Are you noticing something different? Something unique? Something transformative? Something has changed. You've let go. You've opened. And you've known your oneness, sometimes even for a few seconds at a time. Now you know what it means to be fully in harmony. So savoring that experience of oneness. Bring your awareness back to this time, the place where you are. Knowing that that's available. That's available to you by your choice and your openness. Divine energy will flow to you and through you. So as you come back to this time, open your eyes and be back here in this time and space. Maybe to take a couple of deep breaths. Looks like you're having a little hard time getting back. And be extremely grateful. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Neal. Looks like most people are back with us. You know, many years ago, I had the great good fortune of hearing in person the Phoenix Symphony and the Phoenix Choral Society do the Ninth Symphony and Ode to Joy. And there is something about that piece of music to be heard in person that we all did spontaneously jump up, and it was a spiritual experience. If you have not heard a really good recording of that, or if you ever have the opportunity to listen to that in person, please take advantage of it. It was powerful. So thank you very much for your lesson today. And so now is the time for our gifts and our offerings, and which we greatly appreciate all of your support. And in a moment here, we'll have an offering song. And so for those of you online, there is plenty of time to make your gift. Here in person, we will be passing the basket. And let's call to mind, get back into that meditative state for just a moment, what you were just in, and let's charge up your offering with that so that that energy is what goes out to the larger community. And let's say our affirmation together. Freely we give and freely we receive. And our song today is Daniel Nahmon's Let Your Love Unfold.
Remember as a child you dreamed of flying to the sky. Now there's nothing stopping you but doubts inside your own mind. You know that you can be whatever you would like to be. Your time has finally come. The world is ready now to see you. Let your love unfold. Let your love unfold. It will change the world starting with you. Let your love unfold. Let your love unfold. It will change the world starting with you. Yes, you have the power to make anything so. Only you and God know where you are really meant to go. Rest assured that all your dreams are born to come true if you just find your strength inside and let it shine on through. Let your love unfold. Let your love unfold. It will change the world starting with you. Let your love unfold. Let your love unfold. It will change the world starting with you. But do you love yourself as you know you should do? You are a child of God, no wall you can't break through. You've just got to believe that your great destiny awaits. All your wildest dreams will turn into your certain fate. So let your love unfold. Let your love unfold. It will change the world starting with you. Let your love unfold. Let your love unfold. It will change the world starting with you. Let your love unfold. Let your love unfold. It will change the world starting with you. Let your love unfold. Let your love unfold. It will change the world. It will change the world. It will change the world. Starting with you. Starting with you.
Yes, we will. And it's time for the dedication of the offering. If you can say these words with me, and let's charge this up. Divine love flowing through us. Blesses and comforts all that we are, all that we have, all that we hear. We are abundantly prosperous, and we give thanks. Thanks, Andy. Okay.
I know.
Yeah, somebody online, if you could mute, please, that would help. We're almost complete here. On to announcements. And so, of course, we have our regular activities. We have our morning cafe.
Can you go back to the next speaker? That's right.
Okay, well, our next speaker, of course, is Reverend Neal, and his talk title is Aligned with Myself, the next step in what you were already referring to. So we have morning cafe Monday through Saturday at 9:30, the Qigong with Teresa, Sunday and Wednesday at 4:30. Teresa's also leading that book group that I mentioned earlier. She is a fabulous book group leader. And we have anyone interested in participating in the highway cleanup, please see Neil to participate. And the organic gardening down at Shanti Olmsted with Rom. And the writers group is monthly on the 4th Thursday from 4 to 5. And the next potluck is June 4th. That's our first Sunday. And on to the highlighted announcements. Course in Miracles with Reverend Neal this coming Tuesday, May 16th from 6 to 7:30. Are you going to be out of town for that one?
I'll be back.
He'll be back by then. And that meets the first and third Tuesdays. Next, we have the prayer chaplain meeting. And this is Saturday, May 20th from 11. And this one's going to go to 1 o'clock instead of the usual noon. It'll be an extended training. So anybody all the chaplains, we will be refreshing our training. And anyone interested in joining the team, please come. Or even if you just want to know a little bit more deeply about the affirmative prayer process. And that will be here. And we usually meet on the third Saturday. And next we have, yay, this is starting back up. Finally got warm enough. And I think enough snow melted where you can actually do sunset on the rim. And this is usually drumming and rattles and all of that with Tom. And that'll be Saturday, May 20th also. Meet at 6:30 because sunset is 7:25. And we have a PS from Reverend Neal.
Just want to highlight one thing. There's a table in the back for those of you who are here in person. There's good information on it. There's events that are happening that we support. Sylvia's got one going. See the one about Sylvia. She's got a little workshop that you can get in on, and I'm sure that it'll be a blessing to many of you. And there's also just, go ahead, Sylvia.
I just wanted to say, if you are interested in that workshop, please send an email to me that's on the flyer or ask me for my business card. And I can give you, because registration is required.
So Sylvia wants you to register. Matter of fact, she's saying you got to do it. So email her if you're here. The flyer is there. If you can't get a hold of her, you can get a hold of me and I'll get you a hold of her. Do that. There's also just the Unity of Payson Crafters have a few jewelry items there, and on that back table. Just enjoy them. Make them a gift to you this Mother's Day. And if you want to give a donation, that's the plus. But the library's back there. That's about it. We're going to go into the end of our service. Remember, we're going to come back for just a few minutes for breaking bread after a short break when we're done. And I want somebody to take this nice bouquet of flowers and get it right in the middle of the circle. And at the very end, whether you're a mother or just have a mother, take a flower home with you. You get to pick yours. So let there be peace on earth. Let's gather in a circle. I'll stand in the middle. How about that? Nice standing in the middle. I like this.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that is meant to be. With God as creator, family are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, this is my joyous thought. I take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
And the prayer for protection. Here we go. Thanks. There we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. And the presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you. See you back here in a few minutes for discussion.
Ready.